are there in the practical. So you read this practical and tell me how many inputs are required and how many outputs are required. Okay. And how many? Okay. So these are the inputs and how many outputs? Okay. Four inputs. Okay. Every three of you are saying four inputs. Output is five. Okay. What about others? Okay. Five outputs. Okay. Fine. Good. So in the first practical, what we were doing, we have to give the details of a student. Okay. And these are the details required. This is the first detail, this is the second detail, this is the third detail, and this is the fourth detail. So how many inputs are there? Four inputs are there. Okay. And how many outputs we require? So these all are inputs. And outputs I will mention in the different sign, different color. This so output will be, we want to display whatever we enter. Okay, so if I am entering four things, if I met four things, I also want to display four things. Okay, so if I'm, so these are the inputs which I am giving. Okay, so what inputs we are giving? This is the first input which we are giving. Okay, this is the second input which we are giving. This is the third one, and this is the fourth one. So these are the four inputs we are providing. These are the four inputs we are providing. Okay. Uh, I'm highlighting in the red color. These four inputs are we provided. The first input is that we want to give the name of the student, then the contact number, and then the percentage. These we want to enter. So how many inputs are there? Four inputs are there. And how many outputs we require in this program? The same information that we gave, we also want to display the same inputs, the same data. Okay, the same data which we provided, the same data we want to be want as an output. Okay, so apart from these four data, okay, I also want to output this message also. This is the message also which I also want to output. That thank you, your information is saved. Okay, this is also I required. So four inputs data and one output. This one. So how many total inputs are there? Five. Five outputs are there. Okay, clear to you? Clear to you? Okay, clear. Now I will show you in this program. Okay, this scanf is used to provide the input. This is the first input, second input. Wherever you are saying scanf, scanf is required for, is used for input. So how many scanfs are there in this program? Four. Four. Okay. And other thing is that if something is not visible to you, you click on the plus button. Okay. You click on the plus button if something is not clear to you. If something is not visible. I think it is visible to everyone. Okay. So four scanf means four inputs. And here what we are doing, what we are doing here, what we are doing, we are giving output. So output is given by printf. Output is given by printf. Here what we are doing, we are giving input, and input is given by scanf. Okay, so how many inputs we are giving? We are giving 4 inputs, and how many outputs are shown here? 1 2 3 4. 4 outputs are shown here, and one output you can enter. Okay, this is not here, the thank you one, okay, that I show to you. You can also put that output here in this part. You can also print that output. Then output will be 5. Okay, clear to you? Clear? What is the use of scanf and printf is clear to you? Printf is used for printing the output, and scanf is used for giving the input. So I am having 4 scanf. It means I have to give 4 inputs. So now how user will come to know that he has to give input? Something is printed in our computer screen, then only we can uh, give some input. Okay. If there is blank screen, how I will come to know that I have to give input? Okay. If there is a blank screen, how I will come to know that I have to give this input? So for every scanner, there is a printer. For this app, there is a printf here. For this scanner, there is a printf above. For every scanner, there is a printf above. Okay, okay, I am highlighting this because if this is printed, enter name in capital letters, then only you will provide the name. Clear? Clear to everyone? If something is printed on your computer screen, then only you will come to I have to give this input. Okay, if I'm saying enter name in capital letters, then only you will enter your name here in capital letters. If I'm saying enter age, then you will enter your age. If I say enter contact number, so then you will enter your contact number. If I say enter percentage, then you will enter your percentage. Okay, so for every scanner there is a printf. Okay, clear to you? Okay, Shan says clear. Okay, so for every scanner, you have to have some input. For every scanner, you should have printf. Okay, and suppose and scanf is used to store the input. Okay, scanf is used to store the input. It means I have to create memories to store something. Okay, so here what I'm doing, I am creating memories. So these are memories, memories to store data. These are memories to store data. Okay. Suppose you enter your name. I am asking your name and you enter your name. Okay. So I have to store your name in some memory. Okay. So there is a memory, this one, enter name 20, which is used to store your name. And if I'm saying enter age, there is a memory age to store your age. And similarly for contact number, there is a memory contact number, and this is that memory. Okay. And for percentage, this is the memory. Okay. And these are the memory types. These are the memories. Okay. So memories can be of different types. Okay, like first memory is of which type? Can anyone type? The first memory is of which type? Can anyone type? The first memory is of which type? Which is the first memory? Name is the first memory. And what is the type of that memory? Okay, character. Fine. So character memory, so it is used to store the name. So that's why I the size is 20. 20 is the I am giving the maximum size. Okay, maximum size is 20. It means I can store characters up to 20. Okay. What are characters? A, B, C, D. So these are all our characters. So what is the type of age? What type of memory age? Integer. So int means integer. It means it will store the integer value. And what is long long? Long long is the memory which stores higher integers. Because if I age has some limitation, I cannot store up to certain digits. So for int there is a memory long long. Okay. And for percentage, I require a decimal memory. So which memory is used for percentage? Which memory is used for percentage? Okay, decimal. Okay, float is the memory which is used for storing the decimal values. Okay, so there are nearly three types of memories: int to store the integers, float to store the decimal, and character to store the characters like ABCD. So int will store 1, 2, 3. Float will store like 1.81, and character is like ABC. So now you are clear about this. Are you clear about this? The new who are having the first session. Okay, but it is clear. So what are the rules? Okay, so what are the rules here? The first rule is this is the first rule. The first rule is create the memories. First we have to create the memories. Okay, because if there are no memories, how we can store the data? Okay, then the second rule is provide the data to the memories. Okay, then second is input to memories. We have to give input to the memories. Okay, we have to provide data to the memories. In the first we create the memories. In the first we create the memories. In the second part we give input to the memories, and in this third part what we are doing, we are getting output from the memories. So whatever we store in the memories, we are getting the data output from memories. Okay, just a minute. So you understood these three parts. So this is output from memories. So this is the simple rule for program. This is a simple rule for program. So have you understood these three parts? Okay, what is the first part? First, create the memories, whatever memories you require, create the memories. Second, give the input to the memories. Okay, how we give the input to the memories? We give the input with the help of this scanf. Scanf is used to give the input. Okay, and for the output, we use printf. Printf is used for output and scanf is for input. And these are the types of memories available to us. These are the types of memories available to us. Okay, clear to you? Character, int, float, long. These are the types of memories. Okay, and scanf for input and printf is for output. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you. Okay, now let's have a poll now. The poll is this clear to you? Okay, so is this clear to you? This is the poll. Okay, 13 are saying clear and 11 without response. So those who are not giving responses, is this clear to you or not? Okay, clear. So we will go to the next practical. So in the next practical, we have to find the speed of the car And this is the formula given to us, speed of the car. So how many inputs are required and how many outputs are required if this is the formula? If this is the formula, then how many inputs are required in this formula and how many outputs are required in this formula? Okay, three inputs. So if this is the formula given to you, okay, this is the formula given to you, then this D, this D is one input. This is one input. Okay, and this T is also one input. Okay, and the speed of car is output. Okay, so it means two inputs are required and one output is required. Clear to you? It is clear to you. Two inputs are required and one output is required. Ishan, I'm saying that if this is the formula, that speed of the car is 60 multiplied by d divided by 3 multiplied by t. So how many inputs will be required? So in order to calculate the speed of the car, we have to provide the distance and time, which is d and t. So two inputs are required, and we will get, if we provide d and t, we will get the output, which is speed car. So one output is there. So is this clear, Ishan? Ishan, is this clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, fine. So according to our first step, first we have to create the memories. Okay, that I shown to you. So first we create the memories, then we provide the data to the memories. So here, with the help of scanf, we are providing the data. So scanf is used for input. So this is the first input we are providing, and this is the second input we are providing. Okay, these two inputs we are providing. So that's why two scanf. And for every scanf, there is a, I told to you that for every scanf there is a printf. So for this
Printf.
scanf, this is the printf. So if this is written in your computer screen, enter time, then only you will come to know that you have to enter time. Clear? So the rules will remain the same. Like for, if this is the, if this is scanf, so this is the printf of scanf. Okay, because if it is written that enter distance, then only you will provide the distance. Okay, and where we are creating the memories, okay, here we are creating the memories. So this is the first memory which we are creating, and these two memories we are creating. First is the t memory, second is the speed of the car. Okay, so t and speed of the car type is, what is the type of t and speed of the car? What is the type of t and speed of car? Okay, decimal. Yes, because, why so? Because float means decimal. Float means decimal, and here d type is int, which is, what is int? Int is integer. Okay, so this was your, uh, so this is the simple. Practical. Okay. And for practical 1.3, for practical 1.3, so I will not repeat that practical, but you have to create algorithm in this because flowchart will be very difficult for you. So in the lab manual, you will create the algorithm for that practical. Okay. So you create the algorithm only for this practical. Now we will see the next practical. So in this practical 2.1, how many inputs are required? In 2.1, how many inputs are required? 9. Fine. So 9 inputs are required. This is the first input. So XYZ is the loan taken by Ram Mohan and Sohan, and RPQ are the interest of Ram Mohan and Sohan, and T1, T2, T3 are the time period for Ram Mohan and Sohan, and we have to calculate simple interest. So what output we required? We require the simple interest. Okay, we have to calculate simple interest. Okay, so how many inputs are there? 9 inputs are there, and how many outputs are there? 3 outputs are there. Okay, clear to you? Okay, so there are 9 inputs because we have to calculate the simple interest. So for the simple interest to calculate, we should know what is the loan, what is the rate of interest, and what is the time. These three things required. So there are three peoples, Ram, Mohan, and Sohan. So we have to calculate simple interest of all. Okay, and then we want to know that who will pay the most, who is paying the most simple interest. Okay, so now in order to find out who is paying the most simple interest, if S1, 2, and S3 is the simple interest. Okay, S1 is the simple interest for Ram, and this is for Mohan, and this is for Sohan. Then in order to find out that who is paying the most, this is our target, to find the most simple interest, who is paying the most simple interest. So what we will have to do to find the to find this? So now we have the condition. So in which case I can say that Ram is paying the most simple interest? In which case I can say that Ram is paying the most simple interest? In which case I can say that Ram is paying the most simple interest? How can I say that Ram is paying the most simple interest? How can I say? Anyone from you? How can I say that Ram is paying the most simple interest? Ram is paying the more simple interest than Mohan and Sohan. Okay, S1 is the simple interest for Ram, S2 for Mohan, and S3 for Sohan. Anyone from you? Yes, we can. S1, if S1 is agar, if means in Hindi we say agar. If S1 is greater than S2, if S1 is greater than S2, and then we have the second condition. So this is used to join the second condition. And if S1 is greater than S3, so it means if S1 is greater than S2 and S1 is greater than S3, so what conclusion you can make from this? What we conclude from this is S1 is greater than S2 and S1 is greater than S3. What conclusion we can we are assuming from this condition? So what we are assuming is if S1 is greater than S2 and S1 is greater than S3, so what we can conclude from this? Anyone from you? What you conclude from this? Yes, JDS is it means S1 is paying the most simple interest. It means what it means that that S1 is paying more simple interest. Okay, than as compared to S2 and S3. So in this practical, what we did, so I am showing you the next slide. Okay, so here, so here, uh, so similarly, we apply the condition for S2 and S2 and S3. Okay, so here what we are saying that if S1 is greater than S2, S1 is greater than S3. If these are the two things, so it means RAM is paying the simple interest. Okay, if S1 is greater than S2, so if S1 is greater than S2 and S1 is greater than S3, what it means that RAM is paying the most simple interest. Okay, so this is about this practical, and here this is the formula to calculate simple interest, okay, as shown in S1, S2, and S3. Okay, so here we are calculating the simple interest S1, S2, and S3. Okay, and it is saying that if S1 is greater than S2 and S1 is greater than S3, if both conditions are true, it means Ram is paying the most simple interest. Okay, so this was just a revision of the previous things. So here, this is the condition, this is the if part, and this is the else part. Okay. Condition is if S1 is greater than S2, if this is the condition, if this is true or this can be false. If this is true, then we will check is then we check if S1 is greater than S3, we have the second condition. Okay. So this is the condition, this is the true part of the condition, and this is the false part of the condition. And this is if this is false, then our condition is S2 greater than S3. Okay. So these are the conditions. And this if this is true, then it means answer is S1. Okay. And if this is false, then answer will be S3. S3 is greatest. Okay. And if this is true, then what do you mean by this? S1 is greater than S2 and S2 is greater than S3. So it means S2 is greater, and if false, then it means S3 is greater. Okay, clear to you? These three conditions clear to you because we have three conditions in this formula. So this is the first condition, this is the second condition, and this is the third condition. And that's how we are using the condition. Okay. So is this clear to you or you want me to repeat this? Is this clear to you or you want me to repeat this? So this is the condition. Okay, now you can leave the session and join the next session. Okay, you can leave the session and join the next session. Okay, join the next session. This session is over. Okay, Bella. Yes, yes, it is ternary. Okay, we will resume from this part. We will resume from this part. Discussing the last in the last program, what we I want to conclude that the program is always not normal. There are some conditions involved also. Okay. So in this program, what are the conditions? So this is the condition. So I'm highlighting in the red part. This is the condition. This is the condition. Condition. Okay. So if the condition is true, if this is true, then this is the true part. If the condition is true, and this is the false part if the condition is false. Okay, clear? So now you can see our condition is S1 greater than S2. So our condition will be either true or false. Okay. So if I am having this condition, it can be either true or false. Okay. So if this is true, if this is true, we go to this part, and if this is false, we go to another part. Okay. So if this is true, so in the true you can see there is one more condition. In the true there is one more condition, this one, and in the false also there is one more condition, this one. Okay. So it means if the condition is true, then we will face another condition. Is S1 greater than S3? This is one condition. Or if this the condition is false, we will face another condition. Is S2 greater than S3? Okay. So inside this true and false, there is another condition. Okay. And if this is true, if this is true, we get the answer as S1, because S1 is greater than and also S1 is greater than S3. So we get the answer S1. And if this condition is true that S1 is greater than is if this is false, it means S2 is greater. If this is false, then S2 is greater. And also I am saying S2 is greater than S3. So it means S2 will be greater. Okay. Understand? Understand this. So do you understand this program? So let's have a poll now. Do you understood this? There is a poll that do you understood this? Okay, what about those who are having no responses? Okay, 15 are saying yes and 8 without response. either choose yes or choose no. Either you understood this, either you don't understood this. There are only two possibilities. There is no third possibility. And if you think that you don't understand much, then also you can say no. If you are in the limited amount you understand, then you can also choose no. Okay. It means most of you have understood this. Now going to this practical, the previous practical. Here one thing to note is that we have this function GCD. We have the program GCD. Okay. And in the next page, what I'm doing, this is the coding of the program. So this is the coding of the program. So what we are doing in this coding is we are again calling GCD. Okay. So where is GCD? GCD, this whole program name is GCD. Okay. This whole program name is GCD, and here I'm calling GCD. So it means uh, this will this will keep on working. Okay. GCD is calling GCD. So there is a loop in this program. So in the theory section, we understood this loop. Okay. In the theory section, we understood what is loop. So loop cannot be like we in the theory lecture we discuss about the types of loops: for loop, do while. This is another kind of loop situation. So what is happening here? What is happening here that we have a program whose name is GCD, and inside this program I'm again calling GCD. Okay, inside this program I'm again calling GCD. So is this clear to you? So is this GCD clear to you? Okay, Ishan says yes, clear. Or if you want me to repeat, then type repeat. If anyone want me to repeat this, then type repeat. Okay, Bela says repeat. Okay, Basis says repeat. Okay, Jadius is saying repeat. Okay, fine. Okay, so I will repeat that part. So this is here you can see here uh, the program name is. Can you type what is the name of this program? Can you type what is the name of this program? GCD. Okay, this is the name of the program GCD. Okay, and if GCD is the name of the program, so what you mean by this int? It means this will return integer to us. Okay, if I want to find GCD of two numbers, then one integer will be returned to me. So how I can provide two numbers? So if I provide two numbers here, suppose 8 and 5 are the two numbers. So I will store 8 in memory A and 5 in memory B. So is this clear to you till now? I want to find GCD of two numbers. So if 8 and 5 are the numbers, then I have to store 8 and 5 into some memory. So what type of memory I will use to store 8 and 5? So 8 and 5 are integers. So obviously I will use integer memory. Clear to you? Is this signature clear to you? Is this line clear to you? Okay. So it means it is clear to you. Okay, fine. So A value is 8 and B value is 5. Okay. So this is the code of the program. Okay. In this code, what is happening? We have A and B. A value is 8 and B value is 5. If B value is 0, what we will do? We will return A. Suppose if we have 8 and 0. Okay. So answer will be 8. Answer will be 8. Okay. So what I want to tell you here that, so see this line. So in this line, what I'm doing, I'm using GCD again. You can see I am using GCD again. Okay. You can see I am using GCD again. Yes or no? Okay. This whole program name is GCD as shown in the previous slide. This, it will take two inputs A and B. It will take two inputs A and B. So this is the name of the program. So what I am doing is I am calling GCD again. So this is kind of loop. This is a kind of loop that we discuss in the theory part. So what is loop? If we keep on calling the same thing again and again, so this is also a loop. Clear to you? Bella, it is clear to you? Bella, Jadia, is this clear to you? Jadia says yes. Basis say yes. Okay. Okay. Bella also says yes. So loop is loop is not always using the for, like we discuss for loop, while loop, do while loop. Loop can be that also. This is also a loop because loop means repeating. So I'm repeating the same thing again and again. Okay, I'm calling GCD again and again. Okay, so but here what I'm doing is, so see this thing. See this thing here. Here now, B value is, B value is 5 and A multiply B is 3. Okay. Earlier A value was 8 and B value is 5 because I provided suppose 8 and 5. This is 8 and this is 5. Okay. I told you. Okay. So now what is happening there? Here comes B part. Here I'm providing the B part. So in the A part comes the B part. So 5 will come. And in this part, what is happening here? This is the B part. In the B part, what I am getting? A divided by B. So this percentage sign is the remaining. When 5 divided by 8, so I will get 3 as the remainder. Okay, understand this. Okay, understand this. Because we have to change the value of A and B. So if the value of A and B remain the same, then this will never end. Okay, so we have to change the value. So we are changing the value of A and B. Clear to all of you? So tomorrow, yeah, uh, today we discuss loop. So in order to loop to work, what we are doing, we are we are changing the steps. Okay, remember we change the steps in the loops. So here also, if A and B value remain the same, if this, I'm highlighting in the orange part. So if this A and B value remain the same, then this loop never ends. Okay, so here I what I'm doing here, I'm changing the values of A and B. Okay, A is providing the value of B, so this value is provided. The same value of B is transferred to A, and this A multiplied by B, A divided by B this is the sign of remainder. This percentage sign is the, so when we divide 5 by 8, we get 3 as a remainder. So here comes 3. So my A value will come 5, and now my B value become 3. Understand this? Understand this? Okay, do you understood this? Why we're dividing 8 by 5? Okay. Jadia, what will happen, Bella, what will happen that this is 5 by 3. Again, B value is not 0. Okay, again this thing will happen. So this will be 3. Here comes the 3, and here when we divide 3 by 5, it comes out to be 2. Okay, again this process will be repeated. Here comes the 2. So when we divide 2 by 3, remainder will be 1. Okay, then here when we divide 1 by 2, remainder will be 0. Okay, so when remainder is 0, what we are saying, when remainder is 0, return A. So this is A, this will be return. Okay, answer will be 1. Okay, so GCD of 8 and 5 is 1, because 8 is 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 4, and 5 is 1 multiplied by 5. So what is common between 8 and 5? This 1 is common. So we will get 1 as answer. So with the same process, we are getting 1 as answer. Is this clear, Bella? Okay, clear. So what is happening here? This was our GCD program, and we have A and B value. So in the next page, what is happening, that we are calling GCD again. So but if we call with the same value, it will never end. So we have to change the A, and we have to change the value of B. So this is the new value of A, and this is the new value of B. Okay, when we call it again, then this is the new value of A, and this is the new value of B. So this will happen until B becomes 0. If B becomes 0, we will return A. Okay, clear? So for this program, this practical 2.1, for the practical 2.1, so do you want to see the flowchart of this again? Want to see the flowchart of this? So I will have the poll. Do you want to see flowchart of this? Of practical 2.1. So there is a poll that how many of you want to see the flowchart of practical 2.1? Okay. So most of you want to see the flowchart. Okay, I'm sharing my screen with you that you got that we got. Okay, so there are different symbols. So for input, this is the symbol. For output, this is the symbol. For if else, this is the symbol. For loop, this is the symbol. And for to assign some value like a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, we okay. So we will use this symbol. Okay. if you want to directly give the values like a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, so then this is the symbol. If you want to give input from the keyboard, then you will use this symbol. So there is a difference between the assignment and difference between the input. Input we get from the keyboard, okay, and assignment is whatever provided in the whatever I provided by default. That is assignment, okay, and input is whatever we get from the keyboard. So this is the difference, and output is what is displayed in our computer screen. That is the output, and the selection is the if else part, and this is the loop. So we will see loop, okay, but there is a loop which is available to us, and there is an assign. This is the call. It means if one function is calling some another function, okay, so this call and loop will not cover because uh, we will cover assignment, input, output, and selection. Okay, this loop and call we will cover later on. So I think there is some message in the chat box. Okay, okay. So I already have the simple interest. This is SI. Okay, I already have this. Okay, you can see here. Okay, and there is another simple interest. This one. This is one simple interest. This is the flowchart of simple interest. So what is this symbol? This is for input. Okay. So now you can see the difference between this symbol and this symbol. These two symbols. Here S2 is equal to 2, 3. I am directly giving the value of 2, 3. Sorry. I am directly giving the value 200 to S2. And I am directly giving the value 300 to S3. Okay. So this is known as assignment. Okay. What is assignment? This is the assignment part. Okay, I'm highlighting here. Okay, so this is the assignment, directly giving the values. Okay, and this is also assignment, but in this S1, in this S1 there is a formula that if uh, if the p value, x value, and t1 value is provided, then S1 will be calculated. So in order to provide p value, x value, and t value, we will use this input symbol. So this is the input symbol. Okay, so we will use this input symbol. So how many input symbols we use first? This is the first input part, this is the second input part, and this is the third input part. Okay, so how we get this? If we double click here, if I'm double click here, here I have to enter that enter amount taken by RAM. So I will enter this, and and in which variable I want to store the amount. So the variable name is P. So I'm saying in the P. So when I done with this, so this will come out. And so this is the enter rate of, so this will be again printed. And X is the symbol where rate of interest is stored. And uh, T1 is the symbol where this time period is stored. Okay. So that's how S1 will be calculated. Okay, that's how S1 is calculated, and in the similar way you can calculate S2 and S3. Okay, similar way you can calculate S2 and S3, but to make the program simpler, I show you how I provided S1 value, and S2 S3 value I directly give the S2 S3 value. So here I am saying that if now here comes this part, the selection part. Okay, in the selection part what I am doing, I'm saying that if S1 is greater than S2, okay, what will happen if S1 is greater than S2? If S1 is greater than S2, what will happen? So here I'm giving the P value, then I'm giving the X value,
and I am giving T1 value. So these all are inputs. These all three are inputs. So I use this input symbol here. Okay. Then I calculate this S1. I calculate S1. Okay. How I calculate S1? By this Px and T1 is provided here. Okay. Here I provided the values. The P value, X value, and T1 value I provided here. Okay. So S1 is calculated. Okay. Okay. Suppose S1 values comes out to be 400. So it means after calculation it comes out to be 400. So in this case, is S1 greater than S2? If it comes out to be 400, and is S1 greater than S2? Yes. If it is yes, then we go to this part. So there is another condition. Is S1 greater than S3? Because in order for S1 to be greater, it should be greater than S2 and S3. So here also it is yes. It comes out to be yes. So this will be printed. What will be printed? That RAM has the highest uh, simple interest. Okay. And now what will happen if if this if this S1 value is suppose 400, okay, and if this value is 500, and if this value is 600, what will happen? That is S1 greater than S2? Is S1 greater than S2? No.
No.
So we go to this. Okay. So this is our S1, this is the S2, and this is the S3. Okay. So S1 is not greater than S2. So we go to this part. Now is S2 greater than S3? No. S2 is not greater than S3. So we go to this part. So it means S3 is greater. So this is the data which comes out to be that S3 is the greatest. Okay, understand this. Understand this. So so there is the run button here. Run button here. So if I click on the run button, so it is asking me enter the amount taken by RAM. Okay, suppose RAM take 4,000. Four, RAM take 9,000 rupees. Okay, 9,000 rupees RAM take. And now it is telling me enter the rate of interest. So I think rate of interest is only 2 for RAM. If I say rate of interest is just 1, okay, 1%. Okay, and the time period is I say 1 year. Okay, so it means RAM S1 will be greater. So what output will I get? So this is P is 9,000 divided by 100. So it comes out to be 900. So it means S1 will be greater. So if I click on OK, so here, okay, it is saying that Mohan is having the highest value. Okay, let me do it again. This is the amount taken by RAM. This is the rate of interest, and this is the time period. So here you can see RAM is having the highest simple interest. Okay, so if I go to hit again, I'm saying this is the amount taken by RAM, this is the rate of interest, and this is the time period. So again you can see that RAM has the highest value. Okay, So if I run again, I'm saying uh, 900 rupees and rate of interest is 5, time period is 1, then Mohan. Okay, then answer will be Mohan. Okay, because RAM will be lower, RAM rate of RAM S1 value will be lower. So S3 has the highest value and S3 belongs to Mohan. So S3 will come out. Okay, understand this how this work. Okay, if I don't give any value, then I got the error. So yes, I want to save this. Suppose I want to know whether A is greater than B or not. A simple rule. Okay, so I will have the input. Okay, this is the input. Okay, in the input I will say enter value of A. What you mean by prompt? Prompt means to enter some value. So I will say enter value of A. Okay, so I want to store this value in variable A. Okay, done. Okay, so you can see here get will automatically come. Enter value of A, whatever I will enter the value, this will be stored in the memory A. Okay, and now I'm saying another input. I'm saying prompt means to print something. Okay, enter value of B. Okay, and here it is saying enter variable name. It means in which memory you want to store the value. Okay, I am saying I want to store the value in B. Okay, so this will be done. Okay, then we have the condition. This is the condition. So I am saying that if A is greater than B, if A is greater than B, so if A is greater than B, that what output we want. So this is the output here. So here I want to print that output will be A is greater. Okay. So if this is not true, if A is not greater than B, then what will be the output? That B is greater. Simple. Okay. So we will say B is greater. So now I have to give the value. If I say A value is 9, so this value will be stored in this memory whose name is A. Okay. If I say B value is 6, so this value will be stored in the memory whose name is B. Okay. And if A is greater than B, in this case it is greater. So answer will be A is greater. Okay. So let's see how this works. So I will hit on this run button. It is a enter value of A. I am saying 9. Okay. If it is saying enter value of B, so I am saying 6. If I say OK, so it means A is greater. So this will be printed. Okay. So here I can delete this and I can directly give the value of B. Here I am, if I click on this, so this is assignment. It means I have to give the value not from the keyboard, but there is some default value. So here I am saying for B, I want to set the value of B to 10. Okay. Now it is like save now. Okay. So I save this. I gave the name greater. I save this file. Now here our B value is fixed. This is fixed. Okay, which is 10. And this value I will give from the keyboard. And this value will be stored in memory A. Okay. And if that value is greater, this will be printed. If the value is not greater, this will be printed. So let's see what will happen. So here you can say enter value of a. So if I am entering the value of a to 4, which is less than b, so it is saying that b is greater. Okay, understand this part. So here what I am using is, so in this program, this is my input, this is my input, this is my assignment. I am assigning the value. Okay, so this is input here, this is assignment here, and this is, what is this? This is selection. Where the selection is, this is the selection. And what is this? What is these two? These two are outputs. But output will be only one. There is only one output, either this or this. Okay? Because there is a choice in output, either this or this. There is a choice in the output. Okay, so that is how we create the flowcharts. Okay, understand this. Understand this. So I am deleting this, and um, if you have any question, you can type. I'm waiting. I'm waiting in the computer screen. If you have any problem, then you can type here in the chat box. Okay, clear. And now I want to show you how to create programs in the. Hmm, do you want to know how to create programs in code blocks? I already shown you in the morning session. Okay, so the same way you can create the programs. In the morning session, I show to you how to use code blocks. So now I'm stop sharing the screen. And now there is a poll. Anything else you want to know? We revise the previous things and we see how Raptor works. Anything more? Any doubt you having till now? Do you have any doubt till now? Any doubt till now? So there is a revision for practical 3.1. Okay, this is the last 3.1 that we did. So how many conditions are there in this program? Oh, in the group, actually, Samir, I think you MST. Okay, I will confirm this if you are having practicals. I don't think I will confirm this from the other uh, second or third year students. Okay. Samir, have you joined the link? Have you joined the WhatsApp? Samir, you joined the WhatsApp group? Okay. I think today you joined it, not yesterday. I think today, okay, today you joined. Okay, so what happened that I shared yesterday, so that's why it is not visible to you. So I will again share that in the group. Okay, so this is the last part of the revision. So how many conditions we have in this program? Anyone from you? How many conditions are there in this program? Can anyone type how many conditions we have in this program? Okay, yes, three conditions. Okay, what are those conditions? This is the first condition, that if boys are more than or equal to 70%. This is the second condition, if the difference between the boys and girls is this much. And this is the third condition, if the girls are more than or equal to 70%. So it means how many ifs we use, because if is used to define conditions. So how many if we will use in this program? How many if we use in this program? Three, because there are three conditions, and if is used to so first I told you create the memories. Okay, this is the step one. This is our step one, to create the memories. Okay, now we have to, and this is the step two. uh, this whole is the step two. In the step two, what we do? Input. We provide input. Okay, so here what input we are providing? We are providing this n, total number of students, this p and q, which is the boys and girls, and based on these inputs, these things will be calculated. Okay, the boys, the girls, boys percentage, girls percentage difference, these all will be calculated. And this is what we want to print. Okay, this is our third part. This is step 3. Okay, step 3 is output. Step 1 is memories creation, step 2 is input, and step 3 is output. So here you can see the ifs we have used. So this is the first if, this is the second if, and this is the third if. So three conditions, so three ifs are used. Okay, but output will be only one. Okay, output can be this, output can be this, output can be this, and if all the conditions fail, then output is this. So we have four outputs. Okay, this output is all the conditions fails, then this will be printed. Okay, okay, so we start this session from three steps. What are those steps? Create the memory. Second step is to provide the input, and the third step is to print the output. Okay, so but output cannot be simple. Output can be based on the conditions. So here we have three conditions, but output is only one based on the condition. Okay, if the first condition is true, then this will be printed. If the second condition is true, this will be printed. If the third condition is true, this will be printed. If all the condition fails, then this will be printed. Okay, four outputs are there, but only one will work. Okay, why only one will work? Because we have the flow chart, like we see in the previous example of Raptor. We have the flow chart. Okay, so only one part will work. Understand? When we create the flow chart, end result is only one. Okay, so this is all about today's revision. Today's section is just about the revision. So in the next session, we will start from the practical where we left. Okay, we are in practical, third practical we are doing, so we will cover that practical in the next session. Okay, so today's session was the revision session for the Raptor and the previous practicals that we did.